It does not mean to physically harm yourself. There's a whole branch of Christianity, the monastic movement, that seeks to do that. Not all monks are that way, but there's this approach to Christianity. In fact, Paul is retaliating against that in the book of Colossians. It's not what he's talking about. Some of your translations will say, put to death your worldly nature. Anybody's translation say that? That's a better translation. Or put to death your old nature or your sinful nature. That's what he's talking about. Many times when the scriptures talk about the flesh, he's talking about the works of the flesh. He's not talking about your physical body. He's talking about your life, your lifestyle before you became a Christian. You could call it your pre-Christ life. And he's saying there are patterns of thinking, there's assumptions and lifestyle patterns that you had before you became a Christian, and you've got to put those things to death if you're going to experience the greater life. When you became a Christian, boom, everything became new in an instant. You have a new life, you have a new power, you have new resources available to you, you have Christ living in you, shaping your thinking on a continual basis. But even though that old nature has been transformed and made new, there's a residue. As one of my favorite preachers says, sin no longer reigns in your body, but it remains in your body. Does that make sense? Sin has no power over you, but that doesn't mean that it's still not present in you. There are patterns, there's ways of thinking and reacting that will jeopardize your life. They will ruin your relationships. It'll undermine your marriage. It'll jeopardize your life in the workplace if you do not mortify it, put it to death, kill it. John Owen, old-time Puritan, he wrote a book called The Mortification of Sin, and that's essentially what Paul's getting at. You've got to die, not die to yourself, but you've got to put to death certain ways of thinking and living that are going to undermine you living the greater life. And I want you to notice he says kill it, not avoid it. It's kind of tempting to say, well, I just will avoid, circumstances that would cause me to act in a sexually immoral way, or I'll try to avoid the kind of people who make me angry. But he doesn't say avoid it, because what he's talking about are not dangers that are out there somewhere that might come and get you. He's talking about something way more scarier than that. He's talking about little monsters in every single one of our hearts. It's something inside every single one of us that if we don't become aware of it and we don't do whatever we can to crucify it and to kill it, then they will come and get us. Kill or be killed. As John Owen said in his book, you can either be killing sin or sin will be killing you. It's your choice.